Good morning. It's so great that you can be with us this morning. We are creating ripples and making meaningful connections. Here we are on a journey to uncover the secrets of living with favor. Favor is an acronym, and it's the 5 key areas of growth in order to experience fulfillment while running your own successful business. Favor stands for faith, abundance, vitality, overflow, and relationships. So the promise of this show is to introduce you to experts who you can ask the tough questions and get real life solutions. I'm Lisa Mosbey, your host of Living with Favor. I'm here to fulfill my purpose and advise, train, and come alongside you with simple solutions for life and business by bringing you special guests and guest experts. Today, we are creating ripples and we're making meaningful connections with our friend, Jessica Klassen. Jessica is a missionary, a mama, and the owner of Ripple Boxes. I was so intrigued when I met her and learned about her mission and how she uses these boxes. I can't wait to tell you about it. Jessica's mission is to spread hope and joy by acknowledging people in our lives. So Jessica, I ask each guest, what favor principle represents the area that your expertise shows up in? And you said faith and relationships. Can you share why you chose those two chose those two? Why did you choose them?
Faith has always been such a huge part of my life, and it's a huge part of my business. God is the one who gave me the heart for these boxes and this business and relationships, because I love getting to encourage people. I love getting to bless people. And if we have such a beautiful focus on building positive, wonderful relationships, that only impacts every other part of our life and our business.
And how do you see us sprinkling faith throughout our businesses? And maybe I'm going to ask you how you sprinkle it throughout your business. I mean, it's the foundation of it, but how do we sprinkle our faith in businesses? People are often intimidated by that.
I think the first part is actually something I've been learning recently, is having a business meeting with God. I've had devotions in the past where it's time with God, but actually intentionally writing out, this is what my business looks like for today. And then asking and inviting God into that, and then praying for clients, bringing your faith into every part of it. I don't think it's something we need to be afraid of.
And yet we are, people are
Yeah.
scared to put it out there. And I've been taking more risks. I'm celebrating 40 years in business this year, and generally people would not have known. When I grew up, we don't talk about faith, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about politics. There's all these taboos, and I think it's changed. When we sweep things under the rug, the dirty monsters get fearful and scary. And I think that it's changing. Like, people are stepping into wanting to do business with like-minded people. And, with that, how did you get started in business? Because this is a unique perspective. Everything in your business is about faith and hope and service. I know you were a missionary. I'm curious how you got started in business.
So a few years ago, a mentor of mine gave me a lot of the skill sets to, what are your spiritual gifts, things like that. And someone really challenged me at one point. What do you have in front of you right now that you can offer as a gift and blessing to other people?
Okay.
And that's where this idea of these ripple boxes came in, was to be able to bless and encourage those around us while making a difference around the world, and in bringing in faith and bringing in business. It just all kind of came together this last year as I looked at all of my skills and everything I was actually decent and good at. I also studied business when I was in school. So they all just kind of came together as I was working over through this last year.
Very nice. And what is a ripple box? We haven't really covered that. Can you share with our audience specifically when we talk about ripple boxes, what's in it?
Absolutely. So a ripple box is meant for especially busy Christian women who are trying to bless their clients, their family, their friends, anyone that they want to thank for something that they've done, thank for their clients, as well as people they want to encourage and bless, someone going through a hard time. So a ripple box is it is a box of encouragement. There's about 5 to 7 items from women in small businesses. And one of them is actually from women coming from challenging backgrounds. So sex trafficking, widows, orphans, women out of extreme poverty who are just trying to make a difference in their families' lives. And the whole point is that it is a box you send to somebody else to bless and encourage and make their day, make them smile.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of those Christmas boxes that get sent around the world? Do you know what those are? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of that picture that I had done that years ago I have 10 great nieces and nephews, and we had done that years ago where we had sent them out. We did it for several years in a row, and then COVID kind of slowed some of that stuff down, and I haven't gone back to it. But I just had the flash in my head of Jessica's Ripple boxes, using semi trucks to be delivered to locations to bless women around the world. It just came to me. I mean, I think you're onto something here. So you said that some of the items are from people in unique backgrounds. So how did you connect with those folks?
So I was a missionary in Ecuador for a little while. I also have done a lot of different missions all over the world. I've been to Uganda, Mexico. I lived in France for a while. So I really love getting to connect with artisans from different countries. But I also love supporting small businesses locally and anywhere in the United States. So, but yeah, one of the first box I had, the item that was in it was a necklace by women who were rescued from sex trafficking. And I actually knew the people who founded that company when we were in Ecuador. So, yeah.
That's the part that it just blew me away. Like, you are so young. I don't know how old you are. I have no idea. I'm not going to ask you about it, put you on the spot, but the things that you've done in your life have been transformative and inspiring already. And to step into this new venture with the Ripple boxes and taking that, the heart that you have for, that compassionate heart for people and connecting, and also serving other business women. I mean, that's exactly what we need. We need more women, looking out for women. I know we do. And, rather than buying things on Amazon, how can we step into small businesses? How can we serve the business women in our neighborhood, in our communities? How can we purchase from them to put food on their table? I want to get into ripples. Like, what kind of ripples have you seen? There's stories that she shared with me, and I just see that trickle down effect of how this, not only financially, but the emotional support that we're giving to the people that are receiving this. Like, there's so many pieces to this. Can you talk to that, like the actual ripples, or maybe share a story with our audience on what you've seen in the short time that you've been sharing these boxes?
Absolutely. So actually there's 4 ripples with each of my boxes. The first one is us as givers actually really blesses us when we can encourage and bless others. The second is a person receiving the box, being able to make their day, especially if they're having a hard time, or just thanking your clients, making them feel seen, valued, and loved. The third is actually I have a token or a tool or something in every box for the recipient to encourage yet another person. So that's where the ripples are you're really seeing that come to effect. The last one is also, like I talked about, the small businesses. So I had a woman who she owns a wonderful mastermind. She teaches Christian business owners to advance their businesses. And she bought mini boxes for every one of her clients in that mastermind. And she got a text back from one of them and said, I actually really needed this today. I was struggling in my business and I was struggling with what I was doing. So I was able to bless a business owner, and she blessed her clients. And then from there, it just trickled down into the other woman's clients as well.
Sure, because they serve. Yeah.
I've had women who have sent it to friends and family who are struggling with, they found out they had cancer, and they said, or another woman, she was at a hospital for depression, and she said, this helped me get through this treatment, and this actually really blessed me, and just it was one of the best gifts I could have ever received. So I love what these are. I love getting to work with other women and getting able to put their things in my boxes and bless businesses that way. It's just been an incredible journey.
Yeah. You had shared with me what the process is. So, do people buy the boxes? What happens when somebody decides they want to share a Ripple box with someone? Can you take us through the process? If somebody wanted to reach out to you today, how do they connect with you? How do they order a box? How do they get a box to share out to somebody else?
Absolutely. So my website is rippleboxes.com. It's a super simple, and the point besides these, a lot of subscription boxes are ones you buy for yourself. This is actually one to, again, intentionally give away. So on the website, you can decide to send it to yourself and then you can hand deliver it, or you can give me the address and I will send it out for you.
You
So
couldn't make it any easier to bless somebody's life with such a unique gift. How do they know who it came from? Is there a card in there or something, or what? How do they know? Go ahead.
that is up to you. That is your choice. I've had some people ask to have it sent anonymously, and then I've also had people ask to have it from them, and then they give me what they want in the card, and I handwrite the cards.
Oh my goodness, that is just amazing. Like, I don't know who's watching this, who's listening, but I have goosebumps. I hope you do. I think that this is just such a blessing that we need, especially at this time when so many people are struggling. We're in a bit of a recession, or maybe going into a bigger recession according to some people, but it's a struggling time coming out of COVID. And if you can reach out to people, if you can touch their heart and let them know that they are loved, in such a beautiful way, supporting other business owners, supporting women who have come from a place of struggle, and then blessing it into somebody who can share, who gets to receive the benefits of also giving with that unique piece that they get to share out. It truly is a pebble in a pond, and we have no idea where all of these ripples are headed out to. So it's a magnificent business idea. I wish all businesses had this type of heart-centered love, compassion, and hope that they offered to people. Speaking of business, give us some ideas about, let's just brainstorm. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. How would business owners use it? Yes, they can love on their clients. What kinds of other things could business owners do with these boxes?
So you can bring them to, if you have a conference or a convention and you want to thank your staff, you want to thank the volunteers there, you can do it. You can give it as a beautiful gift to any speakers that are going to be part of your businesses. You can also do it as, I would love it to be as like a surprise. So you have it as, you're sending it to the business owner, you're sending it to people in your community. My heart really is to use these boxes to transform communities. So sending it out as just random people. Hey, this is my business. I want to tell you about it, but I wanted to bless you in the process as well.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all brilliant ideas, and it doesn't have to be somebody who's struggling. It can be somebody who touched your life and you just want to send a thank you gift that's unique, that shows appreciation from a heart-centered way. We can give somebody a Starbucks gift card, and I appreciate those because I am a coffee girl. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that, but this has just such a unique heart-centered, like I just keep coming back to that heart-centered. I think the words hope and compassion and kindness, those are what are present for me when I look at and look into the box. It's a beautiful color box. You have one sitting there, don't you? You just showed?
I do.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, you can hold it up.
So
So
these are the mini boxes.
Yeah.
And then this is a regular box.
Yeah, upside down. There we go.
Upside down.
Yeah, so it's a large gift. It's a significant gift that people are getting. Even the small boxes, Jessica was sharing with me before the show, she was taking 40 boxes to a local church and they'll be passing them out to folks. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you are looking for a way to bless people in your life, I think that this is just so unique, and what a wonderful way to share that. The other venture I know that you're on, and you're wearing your headset, you're all ready, is you launched a podcast recently. So tell us about the conversations you're having, and I'm hoping to get a guest. I didn't bribe her to bring her here to invite me there, but if that happens, I'll let y'all know where you can find that podcast. But tell me, you've done a couple of shows, you got them under your belt. What's the conversation about in your podcast?
So my podcast is called The Connected Faith, Exploring the Ripples That We Cast. And the heart behind it is to see what are ways we can use what we have in front of us and the gifts and talents God's given us to be able to cast those ripples, not just in our business, but in our families, in our homes, in our communities, and really see that transformation. My heart is to have people realize that they're able to be used by God. And sometimes I think we forget that because we're going through the motions. But if we really ask God what he wants to do in our hearts and our lives, what he wants to do in our communities, with what we have, the gifts we've been given, then it's a beautiful thing. And so the first couple ones are actually kind of a foundation of who we are in God. What does it look like as a purpose, our purpose as Christians? to love God and love our neighbors, love ourselves. What does that look like? Sometimes I think we forget who we are in Christ and who we are, and we struggle with anxiety, we struggle with our identity. So that's kind of what we've been talking about so far. This coming summer, I'm interviewing a lot of different people on how they're casting ripples and using their skills to be able to cast those ripples in their industry.
For sure. Yeah. And what do you see next for you with your business and your podcast? Like, where are you headed? Do you have a long-term vision of how you see your business, say in a year, 5 years, 10 years, sometime down the road? You have a long business life ahead of you.
So in the next few years, actually, I will probably step into speaking a little bit more, whether it's at conferences, but I also plan on so speaking at conferences, bringing these boxes into conferences. I'd love to start working with larger businesses and being able to, especially Christian businesses, being able to bless all of their employees and their clients, and really changing communities through love, hope, and encouragement.
Love, hope, and encouragement. Yeah, there's those words again. I love that. I have to go back. You said that you'd done something about your spiritual gifts. So share with us what showed up. Like, what was your number one spiritual gift? I'm just curious.
It's mine has always been encouragement and mercy are my two largest.
Interesting. So encouragement, another word for that is called exhortation.
Yeah.
Which is my number one.
Oh, I love it.
I had a feeling when you said it, I was like, oh, I need to ask her about that. I was listening so intently that I didn't ask right away, but yeah, exhortation. So some of us, we're just like God's cheerleaders. That's how I say it. I'm just a cheerleader for the Lord. I'm here to encourage people, to come alongside them, to help them, meet their purpose and fulfill what it is that they're here to do for their, with their life. And I love it when I meet other people who share that same spiritual gift, because it's like, we could just talk for hours about where we're headed with this, with our encouragement, with how we help support and love on people so that they can bring the best out in themselves. So it's wonderful that you have that. I think my second one is actually teaching. I'm not sure. I don't recall. I do have the book though. There's a great book about learning about your spiritual gifts, and you can take the questionnaire and work through it. If you are in touch with a church or connected, you can reach out to the folks there, because I'm sure that they can tell you how to figure out what your spiritual gift is. And it's so worth it, because it's just, when you know that, whatever that is, it brings a calm sense of peace to your life, because, we're not all the person on stage. We're not all the person that's serving from the kitchen. We're not all the person that's the teacher or the cheerleader, or, everybody has a unique spiritual gift. And when we can live in alignment with that spiritual gift, we can do things like Jessica's doing with her business. Like, opportunity shows up when we can be still and calm and listen to that still small voice about, here's where I need you to go, and, feel that gentle nudge in that direction. You mentioned that this was God-centered, that God kind of put this on your heart. Do you want to speak to that story a little bit, like how you were able to get calm and find that still small voice, or listen to it?
So oftentimes it's in the middle of the night, actually, when I've spent time praying before I go to bed. My faith and spending time with God, that relationship, is in every part of what I do. I have conversations with God all the time. So the verse says, pray without ceasing, pray continually. It's not, I don't do anything else. I don't do life. No, it's praying as I'm going through life. It's praying as I'm spending time with my boys, as I'm doing dishes, and kind of really mulling over different scripture. So I had a series where I was supposed to be going through a Bible study. We're doing an inductive Bible study. And there was one about a week or two where God kept putting this on my heart, and I was waking up praying for random people who are going to be receiving these boxes. I was like, okay, Lord, this is something you really want me doing. Because I wouldn't randomly pray for random people I don't know. I mean, I do sometimes, but not to that extent. And as I started walking in it, as I started seeking God, okay, Lord, what do you want to do with this? This all started coming together. And he's like, I want you casting ripples. I want you to be hope and light, and remind others that they get to be hope and light too. So.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't even talked about being a mama too, with your boys. Yeah, they're seeing this, they're seeing their mom just, open like a lotus flower in her business. You're stepping into your purpose, who you are, leading with your mission. What's it like to be the mom and a new business owner? I've been 40 years in business. I've done a few new businesses. I know the time commitment and the energy it takes. And then I've never been a mom, but I have been a great auntie to 10 who are, and they're always here. They're running through the house almost every day. I have kids here. And I don't know how moms do it. I really, truly don't. That, God knew I wasn't equipped for that I had to be an auntie instead. But how do you manage the business, maintain your, just your energy and your enthusiasm? Every time I talk to you, you are just this light. You really, truly are. You light up the room when you're in conversation with people, and then you're there for your husband and your kids. How do you create that balance for yourself? What are some tips? I'm sure people want to know the secrets.
I've learned to time block. So both of my boys go to a public school about 2 minutes down the road. And when they're home, I'm home and on with them. If we're having in the evening, sometimes we have like an hour where the boys are like, can we have some screen time? I'll take that time and continue working. But I time block. So my husband is paramedic firefighter, and he's home 4 days a week. So there's certain times where I will work, and then from 1:30 to 3 before my boys come home is my husband's time. So I'm trying to be very intentional about the time I spend working. And when I am working, I'm making sure it's actually moving what I need forward.
Yeah. And to be fully
So
present, if we could, if people, besides spreading ripples in your world, if there's one thing that people could take away from this, is how do you get fully present? I think, and I think that the ripple boxes in a way represent that. We talked about two principles at the beginning: faith and then relationships. Relationships come out of time and presence and being fully present and showing up, asking questions, not just talking about ourselves all the time, right?
Right.
If you had some other tips for folks in their meaningful connections within their family, their work, their church, what would you suggest? Do you have any final tips for folks on how to cast ripples and create those meaningful connections with people in their life?
I think some things are very simple. 80% of our communication is actually nonverbal. So be aware of how you communicate with people. Are you closed off? Are you kind of leaning away from people? Are you smiling? Are you looking at them? That will have huge impact in the relationships you have. Are you intentional, or are you sitting here on your phone? That's nice. But if it's down and you're actually engaging people, you're asking questions. I love it when we sit down at dinner. I don't have to ask the questions anymore. My little one now goes, so how was everyone's day? So it's being intentional. It's looking at your neighbor and seeing that they're struggling, taking stuff to their car. Hey, can I help you? It's taking time, and time is hard. Sometimes we're like, we're so busy, we're going so fast. I would slow down. I would take things out that aren't necessary and really invest in what you want that's super important to you. Those are probably my biggest tips in casting ripples in your community, in your home, and your business. Slow down and be intentional.
Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, we do go fast. I know I do. These speaking of fast, our time here goes so fast when we're interviewing guests. We just get really wrapped up in it. Again, you mentioned the website is Ripple Boxes. That's where people can find the boxes. Where do they find you for your podcast?
It's called the Connected Faith Podcast. I'm on all the different podcasts. So Apple, Samsung, I'm connected through all of them. So the Connected Faith Podcast is what they can look for. And I can include those wherever you have notes as well.
Yeah, we'll do that. The Connected Faith Podcast, rippleboxes.com. Any final thoughts that you want to share with our audience before we wrap this one up?
I have so much fun. I love chatting with you. You just make me smile every time I chat with you. So thank you for having me on here. And I just hope together this is my thing that God has put on my heart. I want to encourage and challenge all of you to ask God what he's put on your heart, because we are the body together, and together we actually can change this world. So use your gifts and talents and ask God to see what he wants to do in and through you.
Thank you. I want to end it right there, but I do actually have to close my show. And I want to thank you too. Before the show, Jessica just said, hey, Lord, whatever needs to come through, whatever our audience needs to hear, let those words come through us. And I think that we accomplished that. So thank you for bringing the calm and the peace this morning, the joy and the light from your face and your brilliant mind. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I look forward to seeing where your business goes and tuning in to future podcasts with you as well. So thanks for being here, Jessica. I appreciate you more than you know. All
Thank
right.
you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. On this journey together, we hope that you take away a little bit more knowledge, that you unleash a little bit of confidence, discover something unique about you, and uncover the life experience that makes you an expert as you help others. I'm Lisa Mosbey, your host. Thank you again for letting me introduce you to my expert friends and share a bit of advice. I want you to experience joy and personal fulfillment in running a successful business while creating a residual income for you and your family. If you want to chat about your business and you're ready to grow it online, I'm your digital marketing guru, if you want to call it that. I can help you with your digital marketing. I also have a mastermind group where we have accountability available for women business owners. My team and I work to reduce the business struggles with simple solutions, both personally and professionally. So let's discuss your business today. You can find my my calendar at lisamosbey.com or at Living with Favor. Either of those two websites will have my calendar link on it if you want to connect and get together. The best part of Living with Favor is always the little time that we have after the show. So I hope that you can join us for a future live presentation, linger a little longer, ask our special guests and our guest experts those tough questions, and get real solutions. So we hope to see you next week. We're here every week on Tuesdays. Thank you so much, everybody.